HOU 11 confirming the owner of Trump Burger restaurants has been arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
I guarantee you this is going to be the most hilarious and insane story that you hear today. There's this burger chain here in the great state of Texas that goes by the name of Trump Burger. And in a case of beautiful cosmic karma, the owner of this place is getting deported by ICE. We'll check out how he got picked up by Christy the Face Gnome.
But we could use more men like you in a distraction.
Whoa! What the
And then I'll show you guys how Trump Burger MAGA is falling apart at the seams in the best way possible. Go ahead and subscribe to Really American, and let's jump right into it.
HOU 11 confirming the owner of Trump Burger restaurants, which has several locations in the Houston area, has been arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement and now faces deportation. ICE says Roland Biani, a 28-year-old from Lebanon, overstayed his visa after entering the U.S. back in 2019. He was taken into custody in May and is now out on bond as he awaits immigration proceedings. In a statement sent to KHOU 11, an ICE spokesperson told us, quote, "Under the current administration, ICE is committed to restore integrity to our nation's immigration system by holding all individuals accountable who illegally enter the country or overstay the terms of their admission. This is true regardless of what restaurant you own or political beliefs you may have."
Sorry, being MAGA isn't going to protect you. I've actually laid eyes on one of these places myself. Here's a picture that I took of one of these cult temples known as Trump Burger MAGA. Clearly, this Biani guy realized that you can make a lot of money off of people's idiotic obsession with the orange man. And they have cashed in by opening 4 locations here in Texas, mostly in small towns, but one of them in Houston as well. The one that I saw in Flatonia, Texas, had a suspicious SS tiled into the walls here. I'm not sure what that's about, but I think you can put 2 and 2 together. Now here's some details on the story behind the scenes, and it is extra hilarious because it turns out there's a whole litany of legal issues that led to the crumbling of this business. First, we'll talk about Donald Trump himself and the Trump administration cracking down on this burger place by hitting them with a cease and desist. The letter stated, "We were surprised to learn that you have been flagrantly infringing upon the Trump organization's valuable and well-established intellectual property right by operating at least 3 restaurants under the Trump name and brand." The letter included a reference to the Trump Burger location in Flatonia. That's the one that I saw. This use risks misleading the public into falsely believing that your business is affiliated with the Trump organization or endorsed by our clients, the letter went on to say. It also demanded a full accounting of all revenues generated directly or indirectly from your unlawful use of the Trump name, brand, or trademark. So it looks like Trump himself is going to crack down and take these guys for everything they made. The letter concluded by saying the Trump organization would pursue legal action if no action was taken. I got a sinking suspicion that somebody working for the Trump organization was the one that tipped ICE off as to the owner's legal status. The Record reached out to the Trump organization this week to see if they ever came to any agreement with Trump Burger. They did not respond. Now, one of the other major legal issues that this burger chain is facing is who owns it to begin with. The original creator of Trump Burger was a man named Ayed Abu El Hawa, who changed his name to Eddie Hawa, probably in an attempt to sound more American. Roland Biani, who's the man who's facing deportation, reportedly grew up in Lebanon and moved to the United States in 2019. He alleges in a lawsuit that he owns 50% of the business Trump Burger LLC. Biani filed the suit in Fayetteville County on April 16th against Iyad Abu El Hawa, also known as Eddie Hawa. Hawa started the original Trump Burger in Belleville. In the lawsuit, Biani claims he paid Hawa $65,000 for 50% stake in the business. Biani's partners, Bart and Dana Blakelock, filed an affidavit supporting Biani's claim. They say Hawa agreed to the purchase on or about January 22nd, and that the money was received by Hawa in March. Hawa has since filed a counterclaim, alleging that there is no written contract. Hawa is seeking $1 million in damages. The case is still pending. So it looks like there's two halves here, Biani's half and Eddie's half, who are currently fighting for the business. So now, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Eddie Hawa who called ICE on his ex-business partner here in an attempt to take full ownership of this business, because it turns out that Eddie Hawa isn't exactly an upstanding citizen. He might have changed his name to sound more American, or maybe he changed it to avoid association with his 2007 conviction. It turns out that this guy is a convicted felon who spent 4 years in prison for, get this, administering fake vaccines. This man scammed ExxonMobil out of $700,000 by administering fake blood tests and by shooting people up with purified water instead of vaccines. He pled guilty to healthcare fraud and drug misbranding in connection with fake shots given during a health fair at the Baytown refinery. Instead of the vaccine, the syringes were filled with sterile water and marked with phony barcodes. It seems like literally every single person mentioned in this story is a massive piece of shit. Even ExxonMobil's name got brought up here. But going back to Biani, why was he picked up by ICE? Well, it turns out that his marriage, which allowed him to obtain permanent legal residency, was a sham. The Department of Homeland Security alleges that Biani sought to obtain legal permanent residency through a sham marriage. USCIS investigations revealed a lack of evidence supporting the legitimacy of his marriage, including no shared lease or joint financial accounts. The woman alleged to be a spouse, along with her family, reportedly described the marriage as fraudulent, a ploy to manipulate the immigration system. Consequently, Biani's petition was revoked, and DHS confirmed it is actively pursuing legal action against him for immigration fraud. An immigration court hearing is scheduled for November, where Biani may face formal deportation from the United States. It is so hilarious to me that an immigrant from Lebanon, who only came here in 2019, mind you, knew he was in the middle of immigration fraud, and yet still backed Trump all the way, to the point where he started a business under Trump's name. And here's some inside footage in case you guys wanted a look inside of one of these Trump cult temples. It's just as ridiculous and gaudy as you can imagine. As soon as you walk up, you're greeted by Tweedledee and Tweedledumbass here, and it looks like every surface, every window is wrapped with a picture of Trump and Melania. And it seems to be true for the entire inside of the place as well. I mean, every inch is covered in MAGA. And of course, you gotta walk through the world's most cursed gift shop, stocked with those hideous orange-haired visors, shirts that nobody will ever wear. I mean, look at this. Even the plates have his name and face all over them. And the burgers come branded with Trump, which I'm sure is the traditional way in which Donald claimed his girls as opposed to Jeffrey Epstein's. When I drove past this place sometime last year, I thought to myself, like, what kind of sycophantic, parasocial freak would spend all of their money to open up a restaurant like this? But I never would have imagined that it was two immigrant scammers who love Trump because Trump is a scammer too. And somehow this immigrant was shocked to find out that being MAGA doesn't protect you from MAGA's wrath. Now, I am sure that the yokels in these small Texas towns are going to find a way to blame Biden when this garbage business finally kicks the bucket. Hell, once they find out that their local Trump burger wasn't actually made by Donald Trump, but was instead run by a guy named Ayad Abu El Hawa, they'll burn the place down themselves. If you guys want to stay informed on this kind of news that MAGA hates to hear, well, you know where to find it, right here at Really American. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you next time.